Hey guys, it's Nathan. Hope you are well. Today I wanted to talk about the Instagram mother slave method, particularly for anyone who hasn't come across it before. Reason for making this video is I just constantly have people reaching out asking how do we actually do it? What is mother slave method? What is it used for? What type of results can I expect? So Instagram mother slave method is a strategy where you have a main account, which is your mother account. And then when we go ahead and create a load of slave accounts that all perform marketing activity, usually follow, and we drive traffic back through to the mother account. Example would be like we would set up like a ton of phones, like I have here. We put a load of slave accounts on these devices. So as an example, if we have a new OnlyFans model, I will set up 80 different accounts for her that all funnel traffic back into her main account. And the purpose of that is that the main account is then kept safe. The main account doesn't have to do any activity on its own. And for example, we can be very aggressive on like the slave accounts, on the child accounts with the marketing, because it doesn't really matter if they get banned. But even in that case, they don't get banned too often, but they will often get like a temporary, like 20% of the time, they'll get like a temporary restriction, like an action block for 7 days or something like that. But it's because we will be going quite aggressive with the marketing. And in this particular case, yeah, we are promoting an OnlyFans model. So what I will do is in the bio of each of the slave accounts, we will put a link saying go and follow main account. In the actual URL where we add in a link, we'll push traffic straight across to the OnlyFans page. And if you're running like an e-commerce or service-based business, I strongly encourage you to push traffic directly to the website. If your only purpose is to actually grow followers, then you could always just put a link back over to the main Instagram profile. And then all of the content is actually taken from the mother Instagram account, and we will just re-upload it on these child accounts, and we will tag the main account in each of the posts, again, just to allow people to click through. We'll also write a caption on every single post saying go and follow the main account. And you can also set the main account to private if you want to. It's like a personal preference. I have tested both ways and I haven't seen any like significant difference. And yeah, and so we're literally just pushing traffic back through to the OnlyFans page. And the other thing that you can do is you can take like repurposed content in the case of like your OnlyFans model. So when our OnlyFans girls are creating TikTok content, we'll download all of that content without a watermark. I built a script for that was actually released in the course, and we will re-upload those reels onto every single Instagram profile as Instagram reels, which has been working pretty well. If you are going to do this on OnlyFans as well, I strongly encourage you to upload like a story archive, which we do on all of our accounts, and we'll name it OnlyFans. And that means it just shows that we're an OnlyFans content creator. Yeah, so that's like a little example. We have a link going to Linktree, and we have a story archive there named OnlyFans or OF, and that just immediately lets every visitor know that we are a content creator. So yeah, that's the strategy there. In terms of the amount of activity we do, we have 80 accounts, which is what I'll generally do for a model. And we do about 180 actions per day, which equals about 15,000 actions per day across all of the accounts for that particular model. The other thing that is quite interesting in this particular case is when you are managing so many accounts targeting the same audience, there's quite a lot of crossover. In this case, we're targeting OnlyFans models. So we're targeting OnlyFans subscribers, but the target profiles that we use are OnlyFans models. And so if we, for example, have OnlyFans model target 1, OnlyFans model target 2, and OnlyFans model target 3, there will often be a lot of audience crossover between all of the different accounts. And what we don't want is for each of the accounts to be targeting the same profiles. It would just be a waste of activity. Not only that, if someone is being spammed by our same model multiple times in a day, it doesn't look very good. So we try to avoid that as much as possible. And in order to resolve that, I extract all of the followers of a particular target account. We add them into a centralized database, and then there's just a very simple script running, doing like a duplicate check to make sure that this account hasn't been targeted before. Also, if we were just targeting the same people again and again, yeah, it would just be like a waste of activity. It's much more powerful that we have 15,000 completely unique outreaches per day. Yeah, that's the purpose behind that. And also, if you are doing this for OnlyFans, just a little tip, I strongly suggest that you don't focus too much on targeting in this particular case, because a lot of the guys that you're going to be reaching out to, they're actually going to be operating through like burner accounts. For example, they have a girlfriend, they have a wife, or friends, family, whatever it may be, on their main account. They don't want to be seen to be following a ton of OnlyFans models. So they will often just create a secondary account which has no profile picture, no posts, no nothing. And that is what they will use for their like adult content consumption. Yeah, our best subscribers in a lot of cases would actually look like very low quality targets, no profile picture, no posts. And previously I was actually quite focused on targeting for this. And I quickly realized it was, yeah, that's a completely wrong way to go about things. So we don't do any type of analysis of the profiles themselves because a lot of good subscribers have very low quality accounts. The only thing that we will do is gender-based targeting. So we will check that the profile is not a woman. If the profile picture is Instagram's default avatar, that's completely fine. We actually consider that a good target in this particular campaign. And if there's a picture of a male, we will also consider it a good target. But on a lot of these profiles, you often find a lot of like Asian, Chinese women trying to, I don't know, sell or scam. I'm not actually quite sure what they're doing. And as well, you'll find a lot of other OnlyFans models in there. So in that case, we would actually just use them as a new target. We wouldn't delete them entirely. But yeah, we would just filter those out. And other than that, we're just left with a huge list of these like unique profiles, and we would just go ahead and reach out to them directly through follow, unfollow. In the event I was promoting like e-commerce or some type of service-based business or pretty much anything else, actually, you could go ahead and send like a welcome direct message, for example, in e-commerce, send a welcome message offering a 25% discount off their first order. Or if you were promoting like a service-based business, invite them to book in schedule a consultation call with you, whatever it may be. And you could also get quite interesting with the tracking. You could, for example, give discount code Instagram25, or you could go on really unique discount codes to really track what account is driving what sales, and that would actually tell you what targeting strategy is working best. So yeah, that would just be another way to go more in depth into the strategy. In this particular case, though, for promoting OnlyFans girls, we never do any type of messaging or engagement with prospects on Instagram, on dating, on TikTok, on whatever it may be. We literally do not talk to them. The second that you start to engage with the guys on any platform aside from OnlyFans, it kills the dynamic, and they start to believe that they're in with a chance to go on a date with the girl, to talk to her for free, which they're definitely not. Yeah, don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't try converting your Instagram DMs through like sales. Complete waste of time. We won't send out any direct messages. The only goal here is literally to grow the followers, and what ends up happening is you end up with a pretty huge audience. Because we're promoting beautiful girls that are like half dressed, it's very easy to grow these type of accounts. We'll pick up anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 followers per month per Instagram account. If we're managing 80 accounts, in some cases, we'll pick up like 160,000 followers per month. And again, these are all completely unique followers because of the targeting system that I mentioned earlier. So what you end up having is essentially a network of accounts that we will continuously grow through doing new story posts, driving traffic over to the OnlyFans page. And when we're managing multiple models at the same time, for example, at the moment, I'm managing 12 different girls, and I'm in the process of setting up 80 Instagram accounts for each of them that are all going to have their own network of accounts. Things get pretty interesting. So we can do cross promotion across all of our girls. And for example, if a new girl is onboarded, immediately we could promote her across our entire network of Instagram accounts, which, yeah, I think really gets quite interesting. That is a main overview of like the mother slave method. What are the negatives of it? It's a bit of a pain to set up. Number one, you're going to be managing like a ton of accounts. I don't recommend anyone to use like automation software for growing Instagram accounts these days. It's just literally not worth it. So you need to set up and actually profile all of the accounts. And when I say profile, upload 24 posts. Just a little tip for you, we found that to be the sweet spot in terms of follow back rate. At 12, you'll get a pretty good follow back rate, but at 24 posts, we were actually able to double the follow back rate. And that doesn't just apply to OnlyFans, by the way. We've found this to work globally across all of our clients. So yeah, negative is it's a bit of a pain to set up. You're going to need a lot of devices. You're going to need employees, most likely multiple employees if you're going to follow the strategy that we use. And it's going to be like a little bit more expensive because we use 4G internet, we use 4G data. We don't use 4G proxies, it's not necessary, but we will use a SIM card using mobile data in order to perform the activity because it reduces blocks and reduces bans. If you are going to do this as well, I also suggest you to buy aged accounts. It's going to save you a ton of time and significantly reduce the ban rate that you get in terms of like volume and activity. So of course, whilst these are suicide accounts, we generally want to reduce the ban rate as much as possible, or like the temporary action blocks, because it just means we're able to perform less activity. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. In terms of the volume of activity that we will actually perform on the accounts, we'll start off with 10 actions per day on a new account, and we increase that by 10 actions per day until we reach a total of about 180 follows per day. And one other thing that's quite interesting, a little change that we've made. Previously, we used to alternate on days of, on day one, you do following, on day two, unfollowing, day three, following, day four, unfollowing. But we've completely switched that up now. So now we actually do following activity every single day, because it just simply didn't make sense to do it the other way. So we'll do following activity every single day, and we then have a team that comes in and does unfollowing and blocking. The negative of doing blocking is that it takes more time. The positive is that you can do hundreds of blocks per day without your account getting an action block. Generally, most of the action blocks and activity blocks come from doing unfollowing rather than following. So blocking solves that issue, although it takes a lot longer to do. So if someone hasn't followed us back after 3 days, we will actually go ahead and block them, and it stops us from following them. Quite time consuming, but definitely worth doing. It's allowed us to pretty much double the amount of activity that we're able to do, because instead of alternating between follow on one day, we are doing following every single day. And in the evening, we are doing blocking. Currently, yeah, we do activity 5 days per week. Yeah. And just as well, like after 24 posts, like generally we won't upload any more post content after that, because there's like just diminishing returns and it takes quite a lot of time. So one thing that we will do is like just story posts are really working quite well. And we will also grow the accounts pretty fast. Like I said, once an account gets 5K followers, perhaps we want to remove it from like the mother slave method strategy and turn it into like its own account. We will do that as well. For example, if we have a new model that comes on, we can immediately donate her an account that has 5,000 followers, all with OnlyFans targeted followers. So that makes quite a lot of sense. And the reason that we will do that is because the mother slave method, the slave accounts don't require us to have any type of audience. So the accounts with a larger following are just wasted on there. It makes no difference to us if the account has 5K or 500 followers. And we can often make better use of the accounts that have higher follower counts elsewhere by giving it to our models. They've got a little head start. The positives of the strategy are that it is extremely scalable. You have no risk on your main account at all, because the main account isn't performing any marketing activity whatsoever. It's simply receiving followers. And yeah, so for people who are getting like blocked and having restrictions on their main account, you're also really quite limited to the number of actions that you can do on the main account. Maybe 130 to 150 per day would be like quite a safe number to do. Not to mention, by doing follow on like the main account, you could also potentially reduce your engagement when it's not done properly. I won't say it leads to a shadow ban, because generally it doesn't, but you can definitely see like a reduction in engagement if you don't know what you're doing. Whereas if you're doing this on like these slave accounts, it's pretty well isolated. So you can make like as many mistakes as you want, and it's not going to have any negative impact on the main account at all. You're literally just funneling traffic over. And you can also just do this from like an audience growth perspective as well. We've seen some pretty good results, people gaining 15,000 followers per month on their main account. Again, all real followers, completely targeted, which is the other great thing about follow unfollow that's often overlooked, is you can get so targeted because there's so much public information available on each of the Instagram profiles. Yeah, I literally started this about 10 years ago. I was about 16 when I set up my first e-commerce store, doing follow unfollow, targeting the customers of another e-commerce business. So this is a 10-year-old growth strategy. But yeah, the benefit is that it's extremely targeted, it's cheap to run, and you can get a ton of traffic and a ton of followers. And right now we're in 2022, and I think there's never been such high demand for people wanting to grow, not have followers for the sake of followers, but have an engaged audience on Instagram. Yeah, I think demand is potentially at all-time high. Even on TikTok, what we will see is people are just trying to do TikTok to funnel people over to their Instagram to grow their followers on Instagram. Yeah, and so in terms of how it actually works as well, like my staff come in 5 days per week. We're actually in the process of moving into a new office. Like I'm trying to launch an OnlyFans chatting agency, and we've had 15 people working from my apartment. It's just been pretty like overwhelming. They've practically ruined like a 10,000 euro polished concrete floor from people just walking around all day. Yeah, anyway, completely off topic. But so what I would like to do is actually increase activity to be performed on weekends as well, which would also increase growth by about 30% on all of our accounts. And we have an automated system for sending over targets. Perhaps I'll do like another video on that as well, because that was also quite a good like productivity time saver. They'll do 180 actions and then they'll literally move on to the next one. For anyone looking at using like Java and so on from like a software background, like I'm from a software background. However, I just don't encourage anyone to use Instagram automation in this day and age. Like the only real way to grow Instagram accounts in 2022 is real manual activity on these accounts. regardless of what these software platforms claim. It's just so easy to detect. And the way that we have found that works best is not trying to impersonate being a human being, is to hire cheap human beings and use real mobile devices to perform activity on Instagram profiles. Other than that, any questions, particularly from the OnlyFans guys, we've been making a pretty good return on investment from this. Yeah, not to mention you build up your own audience. So if anyone needs help with it, look, I'll put a link below if you've got questions, if you want to DM me. Yeah. Personally, follow, unfollow, mother slave method has been working pretty well for us, particularly once you build up the audience and we're able to repurpose all of the TikTok content that our model has made and republish it across all of our Instagram profiles. It leads to some pretty interesting results. And I think people were also like unaware of this strategy, which does surprise me as well, because I was getting quite a lot of messages, and it's been around for a while though. It really has. Other than that, yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Take care and have a great day.